Hi, my name is Chloe from Achieve Wellness Daily, and today we are going to be talking about the 5 steps to goal setting and accomplishment. Let's jump right in. Step 1, know what you want and why. I'm going to encourage you to start out this journey by taking time to identify some big things. But before we go into that, if you already know what goal it is that you want to set, I'm still going to recommend that you do this. If you have no idea what your goals are and you're trying to kind of figure out goals for the first time in a while, it's totally cool. I've totally been there. This is hopefully going to help you to do that. So, step 1 is to take time to identify your compelling future, your dreams, your overall vision, and your desired accomplishments. This is really the big picture. This isn't just the small stuff, the everyday. This is really your big picture. So, for an example, if you decided that you wanted to quit smoking, you would want to think about more than just that, right? So think about your compelling future. Why do you want to stop smoking? Well, maybe you want to be healthier physically. Maybe you want to feel better. Maybe you want to be able to regulate your own emotions, right? Smoking is usually used to help with emotional regulation. So maybe we want to learn how to do that on our own, right? So that would be the compelling future. The big vision is to, ultimately is to get healthy. But the first step and the first goal would be to stop smoking, which you may know that or not, starting out with your ideal vision. Anyway, step 2 is going to be, why do you want it? Your why is going to end up being your motivation. So you're really going to want to go deep here, okay? So Dean Graziosi does this great example of the 7 levels deep exercise, where you just take your question and you ask why. So, for example, my compelling future is that I want to be financially independent, then I want to retire my parents, and then I want to be financially free, also for them, right? So when I think about why do I want to do that, I'd ask myself, okay, why do I want financial freedom? And ask why. Ask why, ask why, ask why. The real why is that I want to retire my parents. So that actually did become one of my goals. It's part of my vision, but it's actually my core why. So you're going to want to know that core why because it's going to help motivate you. Whenever things get really, really difficult, you're going to need a little extra push to keep going because inspiration's not going to do it for you. Motivation comes and goes. So sometimes you have to create motivation, right? And to do that, the best way is to connect with your why or your overall vision. So this might take a while for you to all come together. I usually give myself about a week to do this process because it's something that I do every once in a while and reconnect with, make sure that I still want the same things and that I'm on the right track. But the core why and the core vision really hasn't changed. So sum it all up in one place and try to look at it every single day. Like, sum it up, write it down, put it somewhere you can see it every single day. And again, this can be done for big goals and for small goals, but it also can be done just to figure out your overall goals, like for your life. This helped me to realize that I need a certain kind of job in order to thrive, and being an online coach and a content creator is a perfect fit for me. So then that kind of translated into my next goals. So step number 2 is to identify the goals and the dreams within the whole compelling future or the overall vision, right? So the first step is to review that vision. You can do these steps, sometimes it takes me up to a week to get my compelling future and my ideas and dreams all together. So I come and visit this a week or a week and a half later, right? You revisit it, you review the vision and your why, and you want to connect to that vision, to those dreams, to that compelling future. Then go through, as you're reviewing them, go through and pick out the actual specific goals, the particular dreams, and the actual things you'd like to accomplish. Go ahead and write these down on a list. This is actually going to be a list of your goals that you want to accomplish, the first draft of it. So it's super exciting. The next thing I want you to really think about, which you might think about this in the first step, but this seemed like a much more appropriate place to really dial down on it. I want you to think about the identity that you will have to embody in order to make these goals happen. Okay? So this is something I got from Tony Robbins. He talks about how identity is one of the most compelling aspects of the human personality, if not the number one. I think he actually says it's number one. So it's really important. We'll go back to that first example. If I don't want to smoke anymore, right? I'm going to have to take on an identity that reflects that. So instead of saying, oh, I don't smoke, which is kind of, impermanent, say, oh, I'm not a smoker anymore. That makes it super concrete, and it's going to make it more concrete in your brain. And every time you reiterate that to your brain, it's going to be, oh, I'm not a smoker. Oh, I'm not a smoker. Until eventually, when your friend asks you, hey, you want to come join me for a smoke break? You're going to say, nope, I'm not a smoker. Thank you, though. And that's going to just put that permanent no down in your brain and as your boundary. It's beautiful. So, know what identity. As another example, with me becoming self-employed in order to make these funds to become financially independent, I am embodying the identity of being a coach, of being a writer, of being a speaker, and even right now of being a YouTuber. So super exciting. Content creator, right? So those are some of my identities. So think about what identity you're going to need in order to make the goals happen, okay? Finalize the vision at that point. What's your life going to look like in a year, in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Think about that as you're coming up with finalizing your compelling future, your overall goal, your vision, the identity you're going to be embodying to make this happen. Okay? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? All this starts now. So go ahead and just get it pinned out, write it down. So the last step of part 2 is to settle upon your vision, your overall dreams, and your desired goals. So you should come out of this step feeling really connected to your ideal future and with a goal list, a list of goals that you're interested in completing. That's going to bring us to step 3, which is planning your goals. I know, we spent a lot of time connecting with the vision, but it's actually really important because it's going to make sure you're setting goals that you actually care about and that you're actually willing to complete, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why goals don't get done and then we feel bad about ourselves, is because we set either really unrealistic goals in the wrong ways. Okay, when you're dreaming, step 1 here, you are to be as unrealistic as you please, dreaming big here. You are to be thinking of the big picture and putting no limits on yourself, because by the time we've rechecked that in step 2 and we get to step 3, this is where we start putting on the reality check, right? Which is not, you can't make this happen, it's you can make this happen, how? Okay? This is where we start that. So, planning your goals. Pick one goal from your list that you're really excited to start, that you're passionate about, and that you think that you're actually going to be more likely to complete. It's just best to start there, right? Start with something that you're excited about. What's going to have to happen to make this happen? That's what I want to ask you and want you to ask yourself. What are you going to have to do to make this goal a reality? Okay? Because the next question is, are you willing to do that? So in this step, I want you to kind of think it through just in your mind. Think through the steps that you know you're going to have to take. And then ask yourself, am I willing to do this? This is something that came from Mel Robbins that was very helpful for me. She uses it as part of her manifestation, where she thinks through everything that she's going to have to do to make that goal happen. And if she doesn't want to do it, she says no. She says, I'm not going to waste my time doing that because it feels like wasting my time to me. And suddenly you find out whether or not you really want to make that goal happen or not. And if not, it's okay. Have grace, move on to the next goal on your list, see if it's one you actually want to do. In the event that you get all the way through your list and you don't have any goals left, go back to your vision, start over. Obviously didn't pick the right vision, right? Okay, so what's going to happen to make this happen? Am I willing to do it? No, don't do it. I'm not willing to do this right now. Come back to it later. Easy. How do you come back to things later? We're going to talk about planning and like checking in on your goals in a further step. But what I'm going to recommend you do, set an alarm in your phone for 3 months from now and review this goal. Put what goal it is so you don't forget and see if you still want to do it. At that point, you can say, yes, I want to do it now. No, I want to do this later. Or no, I don't want to do it at all. So you just go through the process again. If the answer is yes, grab your paper and pen and list out everything that you can think of that you will need to do. This is going to be your first action list. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even really have to be accurate. It's just everything that you know in order to make this happen. If the whole list is I need to research this, that's okay, but figure out how you're going to start doing that. Okay? The last step of this is to put that action list in order as best you can from what you know. Put it in chronological order. What you think you'll need to do at the beginning, things you'll think you'll need to do later. I want you to just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just kind of for you to think things through, and by the end of this, make sure that you're actually committed to making this goal happen. Because if you're not, it's time to table it, and that's okay. You can go through and do this for all of your goals, or you can do this for one goal at a time. I recommend doing it for one goal at a time and really going all in, because this is kind of thinking of larger goal setting. If your goal is a little bit smaller, like I need to do this by the end of the week, this is probably going to be a really short list. So these are kind of for the bigger picture goals that really tie into your overall vision. All right, we're almost to step 4 and 5 here now. I hope you're getting excited. Let's review these goals. First, know what you want and why. Second, identify the goals and dreams within that big, compelling vision. And third is to plan your goals. Step 4 is taking action and making progress. This is where things start getting really exciting because you kind of get away from pen and paper and into real life. So exciting. So, first step to this is to schedule your goals. And I don't care how you feel about it, it is crucial. I tried so hard not to schedule my goals and they just kept not happening for almost 2 years. Here we are. So, schedule your goals. Tony Robbins is the one who says scheduling it makes it real. Brendon Burchard also highly recommends scheduling your goals. I'm going to give you 2 things to schedule. First thing is the approximate due date of the goal. When do you think you're going to be done with the overall project? Have a deadline. This can change. This is approximate, but this is also going to give you an idea of how long it takes you to complete projects and how good you are at estimating that. So, it can change, but start with a deadline. It's going to give you external pressure, and then you're going to have more, you're going to be more likely to make it happen. We have external and internal pressure, and it's really hard to do your goals off of internal pressure alone. So apply some external pressure. All right, so have that due date for the overall project, and then have a due date for the first known sub-goal. That's just like the first big thing that you know you got to get done. So go back to your action list in chronological order and pick that first goal that needs to be completed and set an approximate due date for that. Be realistic too. And even if it's just look up X by X date, that's fine. It does not have to be super serious. It just has to be enough that you take it seriously. Okay. Scheduling it makes it real. Tony Robbins. Know what the first goal is, okay? You can't even schedule it until you know what the first goal is, but make sure you are really clear on what that first goal is. And ask yourself, what can I do right now so I can take action and get this started today? So important. Don't put the goal back on the table after you've spent all this time working up to it, okay? Because you can do this all in one session depending on how big or small or how detailed or general you want to be. So don't leave this part of the session without making your plan to take action now. What's something I can do right now to start making this a reality? Brendon tells us to do 1 to 3 tasks every single day that's going to move the needle towards accomplishing your goals. So start with just one thing. Pick one thing every day. So when you get to the beginning of your day, you're going to plan your day. Pick one thing, put it on your to-do list that you're going to do to move the needle on your goal. So if your overall goal is to get healthier, maybe one thing you're going to do to move the needle today is you're going to make sure that you go for a 15-minute walk outside. That easy. And then go do it. Actually, go do it. And then when you get that, maybe you can add another step. Okay, now I'm going to try to do 2 things toward my goal every day. Maybe today we don't feel like walking, or it's 27 degrees outside. So instead, we're going to go stretch in the living room for 20 minutes. And then we're going to add a second step of meditating for 5. Okay, so it doesn't have to be something super outrageous. It could be 5 minutes stretching, 5 minutes meditating, 5 minutes making a smoothie. I don't know, with greens in it. I should be doing that. But 1 to 3 tasks every day that moves the needle toward your goal. Okay? Be intentional. It doesn't have to be hard or big. It just has to be intentional. And the last advice for this piece is to find ways to connect with the overall dream every single day. It's going to help you to stay motivated. And doing something every single day to move you toward that dream is also going to help you to stay motivated. Even on the days you don't want to, remind yourself of your deepest why. And if you don't have one, if you need help, come and ask me, but try that 7 levels deep. Literally just write the thing, like the question or the concern, and then ask why. Why do I want this? Why does it need to be like this? Whatever is best for you. But just why. Write it down. Write why again. Write it down. My friend Kate does this, she says it usually takes 3 to 5 times, sometimes 6 or 7. Dean says to do it 7 times. So I recommend between 5 and 7 times is usually where it's at. You'll find those whys and you're just like, oh, this is nice. But when you get absolute goosebumps and you're almost brought to tears, that's when you know you found your deep why. And if you don't have a moving experience, it's not your why. Sorry. Okay. Step 5, way past the why, is keep up with your goals and achieve them. All right, this is mostly advice from Brendon Burchard that I've adapted to my own thing. So make sure you plan regular goal setting sessions or goal check-ins. Brendon recommends a couple of different ones, so I incorporated that into mine. So have a yearly check-in for your goals. A lot of people do this at New Year's. I highly recommend not doing that, okay? I highly recommend doing this for your birthday. Every year, set birthday goals. Even if it's just 1 to 3 goals that you want to improve over the next year, or if it's a skill you want to get, or if it's just a better vision, do your vision casting, do your goal setting around your birthday. It's your personal new year. Then New Year's comes around, everyone's into goal setting again, you get an extra pump up whenever that is. My birthday's in October, so I really it's just a couple of months ahead, and I really enjoy that extra surge of everyone being really motivated right there at the beginning of the year, the following year. It's just a couple months after my birthday. It's really great encouragement for me to keep going. So try birthday goals. Do quarterly goals. So every 3 months, check in on your goals. Brendon does a project once every 3 months. So he kind of does project planning by the quarter, which I really like. But either way, checking in quarterly is really helpful. Check in monthly, at the start of the month or at the end of the month. Kind of just have a plan for what you want your month to look like and what you want to get done during that month. My friend Kate at Chasing Wonderment does this incredible workshop every single month in her community, the Wonderment community, where you actually go through and process the month you just had and prepare for the month you're about to have. And it is so helpful for me to get all that processing done, all that intention setting done, and then take that and actually set several goals. It's an amazing process. I would highly recommend having a process to review the month you've had, think about the month you're gonna have, and then take some time to set your goals for the month. Then you can set your weekly goals, and your weekly goals are going to relate really strongly to your monthly goals. And the monthly goals should relate really strongly to your quarterly goals, right? You get 3 months, and then you have the 4 weeks within each month. So Consider doing your weekly goals at the weekly wrap-up or the start of your week. Brendon Burchard kind of does Sunday nights or Monday mornings is what he says. And he has Friday finishers on his list. So this is like you get to Friday and you have so many tasks that need to be done by 5 p.m. So he does them throughout the week, but if something happens, you know, we get to Friday morning, we have to finish this list, this takes priority. So that's how he keeps on track of his most important tasks throughout the week. It's really nice. And then daily, know your plan for the day, rock it, okay? You will rock it if you know your plan, and try to add those 1 to 3 steps toward your goals. Those are gonna be, they can be your daily goals, they can be sub-goals toward your goals. You can call them whatever you want, but have those daily goals that work up to your weekly goals, that work up to your monthly goals, that work up to your quarterly goals, that work up to your yearly goals. These should all kind of connect. So we recommend keeping it in the same notebook or like using the same binder or something, you know, putting it in a binder when you do it. This is all about grace, because I know this sounds like a lot of check-ins, and it is, but it's actually really helpful, and you don't have to start all at once, you know, start thinking about one thing that you're going to do toward your goal if you don't really have a plan for your day, or if you have a really set schedule, try adding it into your schedule somehow, because honestly, incorporating it into your lifestyle a little bit at a time is one of the best ways to ensure that you actually complete the goals. And then the last and probably most important step of like keeping up with your goals and achieving them is when you do achieve a goal, you've got to celebrate it. And you should probably have a somewhat set way of celebrating it, so it's not just like, oh, I did good today, I'm gonna have some ice cream. It's like, oh, I accomplished my monthly goals because I was so on track weekly and daily, and so I'm gonna treat myself with something really nice. Maybe you give yourself, I don't know, like a whole day off, or you take a vacation. It kind of depends on how you treat yourself. So I eat a pretty limited diet, so I do tend to treat myself with food. It's like I did so good over the last 3 weeks, I think I'm gonna throw myself a pizza party at home. So that's kind of sometimes my little celebrations. But even if celebrating is just sharing it on your story or texting a friend and being like, oh my gosh, I got this done, I'm so proud of myself. Just make sure you take time to recognize every single goal that you do accomplish, and every time that you are intentional and that you do something to work toward your goals. Just acknowledge yourself, even if it's just a little pat on the back. You're like, man, you crushed it today, because you got this. And it gets really hard. You have to build your goals over time a little bit every single day. And sometimes it's hard to see progress. That's why the check-ins are so helpful. They really help you see progress, even if you don't really feel like you're checking off the boxes. And you're like, oh my gosh, I actually have worked really hard over the last month to progress towards the things that I want to do. And if you haven't, have grace. Try again next month. It's amazing like that. We get to try again every day. We get a new start every day, every week, every month, and every year. But every day that we're here is a blessed day. And take time to be present, okay? You are meant for a purpose. I want you to live in that purpose and persevere. And one of the best ways to do that is to know your vision, know your goals, stick to them, make them happen. Always taking action. Dean Graziosi says, you know, the thing that you want most is on the other side of that uncomfortable action. So go take uncomfortable action every time you can, okay? Because it does pay off. And you should know that it doesn't always get easier, but you know how to handle it better. And you have more confidence in yourself to make it happen. So, you want to live in your purpose, you want to figure out what your purpose is, go and explore your compelling future, and what you want to do and how you want to contribute, and what work you want to be doing, right? Or what you need to do to improve the work you're already doing, to serve more people, to help people, to live a full life. So, let's review those 5 goals. Know what you want and why. You are going to identify the goal and the dreams within that compelling future. Plan your goals. Take action and make progress. And then keep up with your goals and achieve them and celebrate them. So, I really hope this was helpful. Please let me know down in the comments if you found this helpful or what your best takeaway was. You can follow me at Achieve Wellness Daily on Instagram. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. Again, it's at Achieve Wellness Daily, or you can send me an email at achievewellnessdaily@gmail.com. Please like this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe and stay tuned, because I'm going to be going over each step in more detail of more of like, okay, you kind of know what to do now, but maybe ideas for how. So stay tuned. And if you would like to hear from me more, please go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. So everyone take care and go live your passion, persevere.